Welcome to my channel. This is Dr. NBA, and I've got an interesting story to tell today. We live in a society where we are constantly competing with one another, and we do our best to not fall behind. Whether it be internal or external factors, we are all bound to encounter an obstacle that we just can't overcome. If a solution to overcome the obstacle is not found, we will be outshone by those who are more capable and talented. In today's video, we will be talking about Patrick Beverley, an NBA player who's surrounded by undefeatable players who are taller, faster, and overall more skilled than he is. Therefore, turned himself into a mad dog to survive in the NBA. Beverley is a player that gives his all in every second on the court, as if it matters of life and death. Although only 6'1" in height, a mediocre forward, his attitude as a forward player is able to bring him more spotlight than any other aces in the NBA. Let's begin the story of this player. Patrick Beverley was born in 1988, Chicago, Illinois. Being the only child, Beverley was very much loved by his mother and was always active in all activities. Unfortunately, due to the financial instability within his household, his mother had to work more than 12 hours every day and raise him on her own. In order to raise Beverley into a strong person, his mother made him learn karate, baseball, football, and other sports. And of all of them, Beverley liked basketball the most. Chicago is known as Michael Jordan's city, and due to this, there are basketball courts on almost all the streets, which allowed Beverley to spend more time playing basketball with his friends and fall more deeply in love with the sport. And as time went by, he became known in his neighborhood. And to save his mother and himself from poverty, he set out his goal to become an NBA player. Throughout Beverley's high school years, he devoted his time to training and was the most dedicated player. He became the team captain in his senior year, scored an average of 25 points per game, and contributed immensely to the victory of his team. As a boy who stopped growing at 6'1" and set the NBA as his goal, he had to work harder than anyone on the court in order to get accepted to an NCAA Division university. On top of that, his role model was Kevin Garnett, the wildest player of the NBA during that time, so his desire for winning was unlike any others. As a result, he ranked as the 65th most skilled high school player of the nation, and as he wished, numerous prestigious universities wanted to recruit him. Of the universities, he decided to attend Arkansas University, and despite the fact that he was a freshman, he was chosen as a starter and scored an average of 13.9 points and was named Rookie of the Year in the Southeastern Conference. Furthermore, he was drafted as one of the players of the United States national team and participated in the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup. There was no doubt that Beverley was worthy of becoming an NBA player. Knowing that he was capable of being chosen as the top player, he was planning on attending the draft after his sophomore year, but something unfortunate was holding him back. Even if an individual is scouted as a student athlete, they must meet the average GPA required of them and complete all assignments in order to run on the court. However, Beverley was suspected of asking another student to write his university paper and was banned from playing basketball for a year. And due to this, his value as a basketball player declined, and his delay in becoming an NBA player made him miserable. However, he had a child to raise, and the only way for him to make money was through basketball, and he didn't want to give up his dream to enter the NBA. So he gathered himself and flew to Ukraine, where he decided to focus on gaining professional experience for a year. Being considered as a prospect, his skill and value as a basketball player was one of a kind in the Ukrainian league, to such an extent as to come in first in the dunk contest, and showed outstanding performances throughout the season and was chosen as an all-star player. Beverley was able to redeem his confidence, and after his contract ended, he was immediately drafted 42nd out of 60 players in the 2009 NBA draft, and was finally able to accomplish his lifelong dream and make his debut as an NBA player. But he was not signed, which resulted in him being abandoned by his team. So he had no choice but to go abroad again, and this time, he joined the Greek League for a year. And after that, he returned to the NBA, and in order to prove himself and sign an official contract, he played twice as hard in the preseason. But unfortunately, he was once again abandoned by his team and went back to Europe. After failing 3 times, Beverley saw the Russia League as his final chance, and did whatever he could to improve his personal record and the team's record. As a result, he was able to make it to the All-Star team in the Russian League, And in the Euro Cup, a basketball club competition in which high-ranked teams took part in, scored an average of 13.3 points and received the title of MVP and was once again able to prove his potential. Surprisingly, Beverley was recruited by the Houston Rockets and was finally able to sign an official contract. Although he was assigned to the G League, he didn't want to be waived from the team yet again, so he gave it his all, and in a week, he got the chance to run on court as an NBA player for the first time in his life. Although he achieved his goal after 5 years of hard work and leaving university, surviving in the world of the NBA was a different issue. The opponents that were awaiting Beverley were far taller than he was, and on top of that, they were faster, had exceptional dribbling skills, and had the ability to score flawlessly. Even though he was regarded as a superstar in Europe, amongst the NBA players, Beverley was just another mediocre bench player. At the age of 24, it was too late to advance more than he could, and so, he had to acquire a skill that he could utilize in order to defeat the other players. What he discovered was his aggressive attacking skills and the devotion of persevering through everything and anything. No matter how great of a forward the opposing player is, Beverley believed that he would be able to break their peace if he attacked aggressively. So, he gave no space for the opposing player to dribble, and while the player was dozing off, he would quickly steal the ball, making it difficult for the opposing players each game. Likewise, even if he was caught in the middle of a screen, he would never give up, but instead, he would carelessly throw himself to block the player and the ball from being passed to another player. Whether the opponent is tall or short, his deadly guarding method was always aggressive. And if he was unable to keep up with the opposing player, he would go so far as to following them in order to stop the shooting. The head coach was impressed by this, and beginning of the 13th-14th season, he was assigned as the starters of the team. Although his overall offensive skills were average, his shooting and defense were stable and above average. And as he showed potential in offense and defense, he became an essential player for the Rockets. However, the only shooting guard on the team was James Harden, and their one-man team was not enough to compete against the powerful opposing teams in the playoffs. While come-from-behind victory was impossible and everyone lost motivation, Beverley still kept his motivation going. However, in the 2017 playoffs, they were eliminated for falling 39 points behind. And he was unable to control his emotions and shed tears at last. Assisting James Harden since 2013, Beverley completed the 16-17 season and requested for a trade in order to expand his playtime, and luckily enough, was traded to the LA Clippers. Entering his 6th year in the NBA, he had found a steady spot on the team and showed top performance starting the 17-18 season, overpowering his opponents one by one. Lonzo Ball, a rookie player whose skills were disappointing compared to his reputation that his father made, was physically and mentally attacked in the opening game and was able to experience the aggressiveness of the NBA, all thanks to Beverley. Beverley never gave himself a break. He never gave space while playing defense for the opposing player and weakened their composure. His defensive skills were well known to the point where people made parodies out of them. Of course, the team that they were against and their fans found him annoying. Some even criticized his aggressive play. But the commentators and the Clippers fans consider Beverley an essential player of the team, and his passion, which is beyond anyone's imagination, is praised by many. While the public believed that the Clippers would remain in the lower ranks, they proved them wrong and made it to the 18-19 season playoffs. Unluckily, their first opponent were the invincible Golden State Warriors, and their chance of winning was pretty much close to zero. In the perspective of the Clippers, they had no way of guarding Kevin Durant, the best scorer in the NBA at the time. Sadly, Beverley had to take on that role. Durant was almost a foot taller than he was, but as a player who experienced this before, he hardcore pressured Durant and constantly started a war of nerves to shake his mentality. However, Durant is a player who has extremely strong mentality, so instead of losing it, he returned the favor to Beverley. As a result, the Clippers lost by 17 points in Game 1 and was on the verge of losing Game 2 by falling 20 points behind. Just like when he was in the Rockets, no matter how far they fell behind, Beverley persistently guarded Durant and did the same to other players by stealing the ball to win a come-from-behind victory. Seeing this as an opportunity, the team players continually scored, and following their play, they came around and won Game 2 and was tied 1 apiece. The following 2 games were home games, so the Clippers were hopeful that they would have a higher chance of winning. As a competitive player, Durant immediately overpowered Beverley and scored non-stop against the Clippers, the Warriors winning the game by 38 to 33 points. They turned the hopes of the Clippers' home fans into ashes. The Clippers were on the verge of being eliminated if they lost another game, so both Beverley and the team players devoted everything to the game. In spite of his shoe coming off, he proceeded with the game by carrying his shoe and executing suicidal defense in hopes to avoid losing even a single point. He endured all kinds of humiliation for the sake of his team's victory. Fortunately, the Clippers were able to win Game 5 with much effort, brought the Warriors back to their home again, and played the game with their assurance of winning. As always, Durant's position on offense was steady, and although the Clippers had a perfect plan on how to guard Durant, his indestructible height, speed, and steady shooting turned their plan into ashes. Accordingly, Durant scored a total of 50 points, bringing an end to the first round. While the majority thought that they wouldn't be able to win a single round, the Clippers maintained a combative spirit and were stronger than any other team. Amongst them was Patrick, and although they lost all their home games, the fans that came to watch all gave them a generous round of applause. Though they did not claim victory, Beverley did everything in his power and ability during the game, and later received a hug from Durant as a sign of respect. Starting basketball as a means of survival and becoming an NBA player after many failures, Beverley had to persevere more than anyone to secure his place. Although he became a crucial player of the team, his obsession over the ball often brought injury upon other players and received a lot of hate because of it. And at times, people would even make humiliating comments about his mother to his face. However, this was the path that he chose, which meant that he had to endure all the hate. As Beverley was successful in doing so, people began to reevaluate him and received a lot of compliments as a skilled guard. Beverley renewed his contract with the Clippers, a promising team, continues to give his all to guard the opposing teams. Entering his early 30s, will Patrick Beverley be able to bring victory to his team, which might be his last opportunity? We'll keep an eye out. This is it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more content. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe.